Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge and the architect of Cambodia's brutal genocide, ruled from 1975 to 1979. Under his regime, nearly 2 million Cambodians, a quarter of the population, were killed through executions, starvation, and forced labor. The crimes are undeniable. But behind this blood-soaked reign lies a web of mysteries, unanswered questions, and conspiracy theories about how Pol Pot rose to power, who may have helped him, and why justice was never truly served. 1. Who was Pol Pot? Born Saloth Cern in 1925 into a rural Cambodian family, Pol Pot was educated in Paris, where he was exposed to communist ideology. On returning to Cambodia, he joined the underground communist movement, eventually founding the Khmer Rouge. But the transformation from quiet intellectual to mass-murdering revolutionary remains puzzling to many. His time in France and the foreign influences he encountered there have long been a subject of speculation. 2. Rise to power. Aided by the shadows. The Khmer Rouge took power in 1975 after years of guerrilla warfare, conspiracy theories suggest. Western governments, particularly the U.S., indirectly enabled Pol Pot's rise. By bombing Cambodia heavily during the Vietnam War, destabilizing the country and creating sympathy for the Khmer Rouge, conspiracy theories undermining Prince Norodom Sihanouk and later supporting Lon Nol's coup, which deepened internal chaos. After the Khmer Rouge seized Phnom Penh, the world remained largely silent for years. Some argue that Cold War politics made Cambodia a chessboard and that Pol Pot was a tool of greater powers. 3. China's role, the silent backer. One of the most documented but often overlooked conspiracies is China's deep involvement. China was Pol Pot's largest supporter, giving weapons funds and training. Between 1975 and 1979, China gave over $1 billion in aid. Thousands of Chinese military advisors were stationed in Cambodia. Why? To counter Soviet influence in Southeast Asia, to weaken Vietnam, a Soviet ally. Even after the Khmer Rouge was toppled, China continued to protect and fund Pol Pot's forces along the Thai border. 4. The Western paradox. Covert support. After the genocide. After Vietnam invaded Cambodia in 1979 and ousted Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge was no longer in power, yet they continued to hold Cambodia's UN seat until 1991. Strange but true. The US, UK, and China supported this decision. The West saw Vietnam's occupation of Cambodia as a greater geopolitical threat than the Khmer Rouge's crimes. Why support a genocidal regime? Cold War dynamics. The West and China propped up Pol Pot's forces as a bulwark against Vietnam and Soviet expansion. There are reports that Western intelligence agencies provided logistical support and intelligence to non-government Khmer Rouge remnants. Then 5. The mystery of Pol Pot's death. Pol Pot died in 1998 under house arrest by a splinter Khmer Rouge faction in Cambodia's jungles. Theories surrounding his death. Official cause: heart attack. Some believe he was poisoned to prevent him from being handed over to an international tribunal. No autopsy was conducted, and his body was quickly cremated in the open, raising suspicions of a cover-up. Why was there no trial despite global awareness of his crimes? Some believe his testimony would have exposed foreign complicity, including allies who had once backed or tolerated him. 6. The hidden genocide and lack of justice. Despite the scale of the Cambodian genocide, Pol Pot was never tried and only a handful of Khmer Rouge leaders faced justice, decades later. Questions that remain. Why did it take so long for international tribunals to act? Why did many governments, especially in Asia and the West, remain silent during the height of the genocide? Was there an intentional effort to bury the truth to protect past geopolitical alliances? 7. Legacy and continued cover-ups. Declassified documents continue to reveal covert operations, intelligence sharing, and backroom diplomacy involving Cambodia during Pol Pot's era. Many believe the full truth is still hidden, locked away in diplomatic cables and intelligence files in Beijing, Washington, and London. Conclusion: Pol Pot's reign of terror is among the worst atrocities of the 20th century. But the complete story is far more complex than that of a single dictator gone mad. The Khmer Rouge was a product of global Cold War politics, foreign interventions, and quiet complicity. From bombing campaigns that fueled rebellion to Cold War support of a known genocidal regime to a mysterious death and delayed justice, the story of Pol Pot is not just about brutality, it's a story of global power games, secrecy, and moral failure. The real mystery may not be just who Pol Pot was, but who protected him, used him, and later silenced him.